Hi, through this video, we will explain about HACCP implementation in Rice Factory. Before that, your presenter is I'm Nurul Irene binti Alias.
I am Natasha Farihana.
I am Auzai.
And I am Nurul Ain Husna.
So, what is Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point? It is a systematic preventive approach to food safety in the production against biological, chemical, and physical hazards that internationally recognized. Its system is science-based and systematic to identify specific hazards and control them.
In the development of a HACCP plan, before the application of the HACCP principle, there are 12 steps that our company need to be taken. After completing this step, then 7 principal HACCP will apply in our company. Firstly, assemble the HACCP team. It consists of individuals with a knowledge and expert in specific area. They are representative from all area, and the team should include coordinator or team leader to play role. All team members should have basic knowledge in hazard and food safety. All of them need to be able to identify and assess the food safety hazard. Lastly, the team should meet as often as needed. This to assure the meeting has a clear purpose to avoid hazard, and most important things, the meeting should be recorded. It is to clarify what is the presented and the solution in the discussion.
Second step is to describe the white rice in full details from the food name to the distribution control as shown in the slide.
Next is to identify intended users. Our main target customer base consists of all Malaysian citizens, regardless of age, race, or gender, because rice is a primary carbohydrate consumed by Malaysians daily. Furthermore, rice contains a lot of carbohydrate, which are the body's primary food source. Carbohydrates can keep people energized and satisfied, and they are necessary for physical activity.
Next step is develop a flow diagram which describes the manufacturing process from raw material to the end of the product. The purpose of a flow diagram is to provide a clear, simple outline of the steps involved in the process and the most important to making sure all the hazards are identified. Here is the example of manufacturing process which follow the concept of good manufacturing practices and the flow diagram of factory and equipment layout in our company which meet hazard requirement.
Next is hazard team on-site confirmation. Follow the flow diagram. After constructing the flow diagram, hazard team should perform an on-site review of the operation to verify the completeness to make sure that the step mistake in the diagram was really occur.
Next, we conduct a hazard analysis for the ingredient, process step, and cross-contamination point. Shown in the slide, there is 2 significant hazards which at storage because of the biological hazard caused by the rice slice, and at the production line caused by the biological and physical contamination. And we also stated the control measure as well as the justification.
The seventh step in the HACCP is to determine critical control point. These are the steps in which control measures are required to prevent biological, chemical, or physical hazard from endangering animals or consumers. The use of the CCP Decision Tree is one of the strategies for assisting in the identification of each CCP.
So after we determine the CCP, from the result of the decision tree, we establish the critical limit. Before that, we have to make a table and identify the level of hazard, whether it's CP or CCP, and give the reason for identification, and then we choose the critical limit. The critical limit that you choose must be suitable to ensure that the control measure you have selected at the CCP are adequately controlled. Criteria used to set critical limit must be measurable and include rating and ranking of hazard for each step.
Monitoring is a planned observation to assess whether CCP are under control to produce accurate record for further use in verification.
Following that, we established a pre-planned corrective action. First, we did a visual check for the preparation, which if there is bran, husk, stones, or any impurities. Check the preparation line to identify the malfunctioning equipment. Check the paddy husker for husk, paddy cleaner for stone, or the sieve at rotary sifter for the impurities. Next, a temperature and visual check for the storage, which if the temperature does not remain consistent, check the temperature setting and make sure it does not exceed 70 degrees Fahrenheit. For visual, if rice lights are present, ensure the container is tightly sealed with oxygen-free container. Always check the oxygen absorber to ensure it is always in good functioning order, which is the humidity is always less than 60%. And if all the problem is caused by the employees, stick to the standard operating procedure and strengthen oversight. But if a critical limit cannot be reached, isolate and dispose all of the problematic products.
Establish procedures for verification is the 11th step in the HACCP implementation. Verification for the procedure done by the HACCP team. Verification is performed to ensure that the HACCP plan is followed as specified in terms of composition, processing, and intended use. Furthermore, the HACCP team verifies that the identified hazards are controlled at critical control points as described in the HACCP plan. Finally, to ensure the accuracy, completion, and implementation of all documentation and records, including the written summaries and other appropriate documentation demonstrating that the HACCP system is properly implemented.
And the last one is establish proper documentation and record keeping. It is important step to ensure that the business can verify that controls are in place. Also, the documentation help to demonstrate compliance to the HACCP plan and to support the due diligence defense if this is required in court. Thank you for your attention. Stay safe everyone and bye.